Okay, so we're going to come to all fours, and we're going to make sure that the hands are right underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Right? You don't want to be too close with your hands and your knees, and you don't want to be too far apart. You want to be right in that perfect alignment where your shoulders are being supported right over your wrists and your knees are right under those hip joints. And then once you feel like you're in that nice, good alignment, you just want to think about the length from your spine, the length from your tail to your head. Really long belly pulling up away from the floor. So we're starting in an active position, right? You get a little bit of work from your upper body to keep pressing the floor away. Good, pull the belly gently in and find some breath through the backs and sides of the ribs here. So we're just going to hold for a couple breaths, like bringing your attention into your body. And as you're breathing here, just notice how everything feels this morning. Do a quick scan of the body. Good. Take one more full inhale and exhale. And then we're going to add a little bit of movement to that. So we'll start with a little tail wag. You're going to lift your right foot, keep your knee down on your inhale side, bend to the right, keep your foot over your shoulder, and then exhale to the left. Inhale to the right, and exhale to the left. So we're still pushing the floor away gently with our arms in the upper body, keeping the abdominals lifting up away from the floor. And then side bending that spine side to side as much as you comfortably can. Let's go one more time each direction. And then bring that back to the center, place that right foot down, lift your left foot. We'll do the same thing with the reverse breath. You're gonna go to the left first on your inhale, and then exhale to the right. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. So we're getting some nice expansion through one side of the rib cage, and then the other as we move back and forth here. Go for two more each direction, as full of breath and movement as is comfortable. And then bring that back to the center and place that foot down, right? So we'll move through a little extension and flexion of the spine here. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, scoop up your belly, round the spine up toward the ceiling, letting your head fall last. On your inhale, stick the bum out, lift and open the chest, really push the floor away here. Nice active lift. Exhale to scoop up the belly, round the spine up toward the ceiling. Inhale to extend, tail to head. Exhale to flex the spine, stretching through the backside. Inhale to extend the spine, stretching through the front of the body. Two more. Exhale, scoop around. Inhale to extend, tail to head. One more time. Exhale, scoop around the spine up to the ceiling. And on your inhale, just come back to neutral. Just your natural curves in your spine. You're pushing the floor away still. And then let's do a little bit of rocking forward and back. So we're going to keep the spine really long. And you're just going to rock the hips back, keeping the spine long and in this nice straight shape. And then you're going to rock forward. So notice that I'm not changing the shape of my spine yet. We're just seeing how far forward and back we can rock, keeping the spine long from tail to head. Probably feels like a little bit of stretch through the knees and the hips, a little stretch through the wrists, a little bit of work through the abs and the upper body. Go for one more like this. And then you're going to come back. You're going to take those hands forward a hand print, and we're going to make that movement bigger. We're going to add some spinal movement to it. So you're going to round the spine as you reach back. And then on your inhale, you're going to shift forward and see how far forward you can lift and push the floor away. So exhaling to press back, inhaling to come forward, coming into extension, and then exhaling to push it back. So just go as far forward and back as it feels comfortable through your body. One more time here. Let everything kind of coordinate together. And then you can push back into a child's pose and let your head rest, okay? So if it's comfortable for you to let your bum be nice and heavy, go for that. You can make a little pillow for your forehead, let your head rest on your arms or your hands or the mat. You can also keep your hips lifted if that's better for your knees, and just kind of round the spine gently and take a couple breaths there. So go for whichever one of those feels good. Go for two more full breaths here. Good. Okay, from here, we're going to come onto the elbows. So you're going to take your elbows right underneath your shoulders. So again, you don't want to be super crunched up here, right? You want those elbows to be underneath your shoulders. So you got space between your elbows and your knees for the length of your torso. And then your hands can be down, or you can make fists, whatever feels comfortable here. We're gonna move those shoulder blades. So really pull your belly up away from the floor again, right? So you're not letting everything sag. You've got some abdominal support for your back. I'm just gonna let those shoulder blades come toward each other as you drop the chest toward the mat. And then you're gonna push away from the floor, separating the shoulder blades. So squeeze the shoulder blades together and then press them away from each other. So try and keep your spine long and just isolate the movement through those shoulder blades, which is sometimes harder than it seems like it should be. Over 2 more. 1 more. Good, and then come back up to those hands 1 more time. All right, 1 more thing on those hands and knees. I'm gonna reach that right arm forward, reach the left leg back. Find your balance here, find your breath. On your inhale, you're gonna tap the fingers and toes down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. So you're pushing the floor away through that left arm, keeping the abdominals lifted up away from the floor to support the back here. Last one. And then you're gonna pull the hand and knee back in, and we're gonna switch sides. You're gonna reach that left arm forward, right leg back, finding your balance, leveling out those hips. On your inhale, tap down. Exhale to lift up. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Again, pushing away from the floor, keeping the head lifted, the abdominals lifted, up away from the floor. Last 2, last 1, and then pull the hands and the knees in. Now come up off those hands for a second and just give your wrists a gentle shake out. And do little splashes. There's lots of good stabilizing work, weight bearing work through those wrists. Sometimes that can get tiring, but always good for us if we can find a way to do that comfortably. Okay, so you're gonna come into a seated position. You can take your little head prop, whether it's a little pillow or a folded up towel, and just stick it between your knees, just to give you something a little engagement for those inner thighs. So you're gonna have your legs out in front of you. Your heels are gonna be down. Your balls of your feet don't have to be down, okay? So if you can reach, that's fine, but just let your heels be down. Squeeze those knees together. We're gonna reach the arms forward, and we're gonna see how tall we can sit, okay? Lengthening up the spine as you hinge with a flat back, and then come forward again. So we're gonna exhale to hinge back, pulling the abdominals in to support that nice long position of the spine. Okay, so if this feels comfortable to keep your arms reaching out in front, and keep your arms right where they are. You can also take your hands to the backs of the thighs and give your body a little support as you're hinging forward and back. If that feels more comfortable and more doable, that's where you're gonna do. That's where you're gonna have your hands. Okay, so let's go for 3 more. Either holding onto the backs of the thighs or exhaling, reaching the arms forward. Inhale, exhale, and inhale. All right, relax those arms down. Get rid of your pillow for a second or your towel. Bring the soles of the feet together, and then keep your feet out in front of you, kind of in a big diamond shape. So don't be too tight. Let those feet be out in front of you as much as you need to for comfort, so you can let the thighs relax. And then hold on to the calf, the ankle, the feet, whatever you feel like you can grip, and then pull yourself forward gently with a flat back. So notice that I'm trying to keep from my bum to my head a really long line, trying not to round the spine. I'm gonna keep that back flat as you reach forward, and that's gonna stretch your hips a little bit better. Good, you guys. Take 1 more big full breath there. And then you're gently gonna lean back, bring those legs back together, take your hands behind you, stretch your legs out in front of you, and then you're just gonna keep your fingertips pointing either back away from you, if that's comfortable, or gently out to the side, if that's more comfortable for your shoulders. So whichever one of those feels comfortable. Try to keep the chest lifted, right? So no sagging away from the floor. Keep that chest lifted. And we're gonna point and flex the feet. Okay, so you've got a good view here in this position. Watch as you flex your feet, particularly that you're pulling your big toe and your pinky toes in at the same rate, right? So notice if your big toe wants to pull in first, or if your pinky toe wants to pull in first. And just try to get that nice and even. Go for 2 more. Last one. And you're gonna do big exaggerated circles with those feet, right? Trying to move through the ankle joints, trying to keep the legs still. Notice if your knees are moving. See if you can keep those knees still. Reverse those circles. Good. We're gonna do a little bit of ankle movement when we do bridging later. So we're getting those ankles warmed up a little bit here. All right, let your feet relax, do little knee bends. Yeah, good. And then switch those legs in and out a few times. Nice. All right, so got a little hip movement, a little ankle movement. So we're ready to do a little bridge. Okay, we're gonna go straight to bridging this morning. So you're gonna come down onto your back. You don't need your head prop for this. Okay, so you're gonna keep it off to the side. I'm gonna have that head nice and low. And we're gonna go straight into some bridging. So you want your feet to be just a comfortable distance away from your bum. Your knees are bent, feet are flat. You can peek up at your knees and make sure your knees look even, and that'll help you know if your feet are even. And then just press your arms gently down into the mat. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, you're gonna use your abdominal muscles to push the low back down into the mat, then squeeze the glutes to peel the spine up off the mat. We're gonna hold this first bridge for a second. You wanna make sure that you feel your weight across your shoulder blades, your neck is easy, glutes are tight to hold those hips up. Take one more full breath here. And then on your exhale, soften your chest and roll the spine down. Inhaling at the bottom when you get to that nice neutral position of your body. Exhale to imprint the back down to the mat, squeeze the glutes, roll the hips up. Take an inhale at the top, press evenly into those feet, and then exhale to soften and roll back down. Now I'm cueing for you to roll through those spinal joints. If that feels comfortable, great. You're gonna keep doing that. If for some reason you don't like the way that feels on your back this morning, or if you know that's not the best movement for your back, you're just gonna go with a flat back, squeezing the glutes to lift straight up, inhaling at the top, and exhaling to lower the hips straight down. So you can continue doing a flat back bridge if you wanna keep the spinal joints stable, or you can continue rolling up, holding at the top for your inhale, and then rolling back down. Both of those are great options. They just feel different through your back. So do the one that feels comfortable this morning. Because as you can see, we're doing lots of bridging, okay? So let's go for one more. You're gonna either flat back or roll it up. And then you're gonna stay up on this bridge, okay? So make sure that you're on the shoulder blades. You don't feel any tension through the back of the neck. And then we're gonna move those ankles like promised. You're gonna flex your feet, lifting the balls of the feet, and then lower the balls of the feet down and lift those heels. Good, lower those heels. Nice, you guys. Lift the balls of the feet, lower, and then lift the heels. So we're moving onto the heels, feet flat, and then onto the balls of the feet. Good, trying to keep those hips nice and high and level. Think of squeezing your glutes to tuck the tailbone under, pull the belly in, connect those ribs in the front. One more set. Lift and lower. Good. And then you're gonna pause with those feet flat, take a big inhale, and on your exhale, lower those hips down. Good work. Okay, hug those knees into your chest for a second, give a little squeeze. A little rock side to side. All right, we're gonna do one more set, okay? And then we'll give a nice stretch to those hamstrings. So you're gonna place your feet back down, peek up, make sure that your knees are still level, right? Every time we adjust our bodies, you wanna make sure that you're still aligned nicely before we do any of this bridging. Okay, so you're gonna keep your arms down. Okay, that's option number one, because the arms stay right where they were before. You can also keep your arms straight up to the ceiling for this one, which is just gonna give you a little less support, okay? So arms up to the ceiling might feel a little bit more challenging. If it feels good, you can keep it there. If not, arms will go back down. We're gonna dig the heels down. So you're gonna keep those heels down into the floor, balls of the feet lifted. And then on your exhale, you're gonna flat back, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips up. Inhale to lower straight back down. Exhale to lift up. Inhale to lower down. So whether your arms are reaching up to the ceiling or pressing into the mat for a little support, you're focusing on that hip hinge, opening the hip joint, and then lowering and closing the hip joint. So we're really trying to focus on the glute squeeze as you lift up and down. Nice flat back. 3 more. Exhale, lift. Last 2. Good, one more time. And then lower all the way down. Relax the feet, relax the arms. Feel free to take your head prop underneath your head, give your head and your neck and shoulders a little support if that feels good. Take your feet nice and wide and windshield wiper those legs side to side. All right. Getting some bridging in first thing in the morning on a Monday. Nice work. Let's go for a couple more rotations side to side. Let those hip joints, letting the spine have some nice twist. And then when you feel even, bring those feet back in a little bit closer together. Make sure that you feel nice and comfortably supported with your neck and shoulders. And we're going to stretch those legs out. So you're going to hold on to the back of that right thigh. And you can just interlace your fingers and hold onto your thigh. Let your thigh relax into your arms. Flex your foot and reach up until you feel a good hamstring stretch. Flex that foot and then relax. Inhale to reach into the stretch and exhale to relax. Flex, reach and bend. Flex, reach and bend. Notice that as you flex that foot and reach it up toward the ceiling, you're really getting a good tensioning and stretch through the back of that leg. You're gonna hold your neck stretch. It's okay if your leg is still bent. Hold where you feel the stretch and then gently flex and point your foot from here. And you'll feel that stretch increase and decrease with the movement of your foot, tensioning and untensioning all of those tissues in the back of the leg. Nice. Okay, from here, you're going to bend your right knee, place your ankle on your left leg, and then pull the legs in if you need more stretch on the outside of that right hip. I'm going to go in for that figure four stretch, stretching the outside of the hip. Take a couple breaths there, getting a good stretch on the outside of the hip. You might still be feeling it in the back of the hip and thigh too, depends on where you're tight. And then gently unwind, place both feet back on the mat. You're going to hold on to the back of the left leg. Let the leg relax in the arms, flex the foot, inhale to reach up for the stretch, and then exhale to bend. I'm just noticing how this side feels. This is certainly my tighter side. You might notice that you have one side that feels tighter than the other as well. It's often the case. Let's go for two more, really flexing that foot to reach into the stretch. You're gonna hold your stretch on this last one, and you'll point and flex the foot. And remember, it doesn't matter if your leg is straight or still bent. You just want to feel a comfortable stretch that you can breathe through as you're flexing and pointing that foot. One more. Good. All right, you're gonna bend the knee, place that left ankle over your right thigh. And if holding here feels like a great stretch to the outside of that hip, just hold and breathe. If you feel like you need a little bit more out of it, you're gonna pull that right thigh in until you feel a stretch on the outside of the hip. And like I said, you may still be feeling a stretch in the back of the hip and thigh too. Just depends on where you're tight. And just take a couple breaths. Nice. And then you'll unwind. Okay, so let's go into a little bit deeper abdominal work. Okay, so we're going to get the legs and the abs coordinating some movement together. So you're going to keep the arms down, keep the shoulders relaxed on the mat so that your collarbone is wide. I'm going to try to keep those ribs connected. Okay, so try not to let them kind of pop away from the floor. Pull the abdominals in to gently keep the ribs connected in the front. You're going to bring that right leg up to tabletop. Okay, so you get a 90-degree angle in that right knee. You're going to, on your inhale, point the foot, reach it up as straight as you can get it. And then on your exhale, you're going to flex the foot and lower that straight leg down. Inhale, point, lift. Exhale, flex, lower. And notice that the lower you reach the leg away from you, the harder it is for your abdominal muscles to stabilize the shape of your back. Keep the back down on the mat, keeping the rib cage down on the mat. So lower that leg only as much as you feel like you can control. Two more. Last one. Good, you're gonna hold that leg up. You're gonna turn it out. So we're in external rotation. You're gonna lower the leg down with your foot still pointed. Inhale to lift it back up. We're gonna keep that point of the foot the whole time. We're gonna go for 6 of these, keeping your thigh turned out. Probably you're feeling a lot more thigh work here. Exhale to lower, inhale to lift. We got 2 more. Try to keep those hips evenly weighted down on the mat. Good, and then hug that right knee in. Nice work. And give that foot a few circles in one direction and then the other. And then place that foot down, right? So when we turn the thigh out into external rotation on that second set, it just activates different thigh muscles, requires your abdominals to stabilize you a little differently as well. So you're gonna bring that left leg up to tabletop and do the same thing. Okay, so arms are down for a little support. You're gonna point your foot, reach up until you can get that leg as straight as possible, flex the foot and lower. Inhale, point, lift. Exhale, flex, lower. So we're gonna go for 8 of this first set. Just finding how low you can comfortably go, keeping your back supported, feeling the abdominal work, making sure that you're not allowing the rib cage or the back to pop away from the floor. Inhale up, exhale down. Last 2. Last 1. All right, you're gonna point your foot and reach it up. Keep the foot pointed, turn the leg out into external rotation. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower. Your range of motion on this last set might be a little smaller. Totally fine. Try to keep the weight even on the back side of the hips. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Last 2. Good. Last 1. And then bring it up and bend it in. Give a little squeeze. Good work, you guys. Circle that foot a few times. And then reverse those circles. All right, so let's do some nice hip stirs after all that work. Okay, so you're gonna hold onto the knees, fingertips pointing towards your feet. Let the feet relax, let the lower leg just kind of relax here. You're gonna push the legs away, circle them out and back in. And we're trying to get some nice, easy stirring action in those hip joints, keeping the legs as heavy as possible. You're gonna feel your low back doing some movement with that, which is totally fine, probably feels really nice. Just a little bit easy movement and then reverse those circles, pulling the knees in and circling them back out away from each other. Let's go for 3 more this direction. All right, from here, we're gonna get those legs, both of them, up to tabletop, okay? So if you have enough head prop underneath you, you can probably just kind of gaze at your knees. You can also take your hands underneath your head and lift your head up a little bit more, just keeping your elbows easily in your peripheral vision. So whichever one you are at, whether your head's just down on your prop or it's in your hands, let your head rest. Okay, so we're gonna hold the head down here. On your inhale, you're gonna straighten out your right leg. Exhale to pull it in, we're gonna go nice and slow. Inhale to straighten left, exhale to pull it in. So we're starting nice and slow, straightening one leg and then the other. Okay, so really focusing on stabilizing the torso, trying not to let the back arch away from the mat or move, right? We're trying to stabilize that low back. Go for one more time with that left leg, nice and slow. You can keep that nice, steady, slow pace, or you can inhale and exhale, straightening one leg with each part of the breath. Straightening your legs as the legs are moving at the same time is definitely more challenging for your abdominals to stabilize. So you want to make sure that you're feeling some good abdominal work. If your low back is talking to you here, probably you want to go back to that slower set. Maybe don't lower your legs quite so low. Keep trying to pull the abdominals in from the front, narrowing the waist from the sides. Last set. Good, and then you're gonna hug those knees in for a second. All right, give them a little rock side to side. All right, last abdominal leg set here. Okay, so you're going to reach both legs up toward the ceiling. Get your legs as straight as possible. Point your feet. Okay, you're gonna reach up. Keep your head down on your mat. You're gonna reach up and grab for the back of your right thigh or the back of your right ankle. Let your left leg scissor away from you. Take an inhale here, and then on your exhale, you're gonna switch that scissor. Inhale, pull that left leg in. Exhale to switch. Inhale, pull. Exhale, switch. Inhale, pull. Exhale, switch. Inhale, pull. The bigger you scissor the legs away from each other, the bigger the stretch, but also the bigger the abdominal work to stabilize here. So keep these scissors as big or as small as it feels comfortable for your body this morning. Good, a little more set. Last time to pull that left leg in, and then hug your knees in. Okay, take your knees and your feet nice and wide as you pull those knees in. And just take a couple nice big belly breaths here, letting your abdominals relax, letting your legs relax, your hips relax. One more big full breath. All right. Place those feet down. Good work, you guys. Let's do one more little quick rotation here with the feet and knees together. Then let your arms be out to a V. And you're just gonna rotate your knees to the right, letting your left hip and foot lift a little bit as you twist. Inhale to the center, exhale to the left. So we're keeping the back of the shoulder down, letting the rest of the mid and lower torso rotate with the legs. One more time each direction. And then bring that back to the center. All right, let's roll onto the side of the body and do some sideline work. Let's do the rotations first. That'll give you a nice chance to stretch out your abdominals, stretch out your chest a little bit. So you're gonna come down. You want just a little bit of head prop underneath you. Then probably the same amount that you had just now when you were laying on your back will be comfortable once we get twisting. So you're gonna stack those arms out in front. You're gonna keep the top arm nice and straight as you reach it forward. Nice big book opener as you twist and open away. Pause there for a big inhale, stretch those hands away from each other, and then exhale to pull the arm back over. So inhaling to reach, exhaling to twist. Inhale, hold that stretch, and then exhale it back over. Let's go for two more. Reach and twist. Good, nice full breath. And then pull the arm back over. One more time, reach and twist. Good, nice full breath. And then pull the arm back over. All right, so from here, you can either use your hand for a little extra prop, or you can fold the prop that you've got with you up a little bit more to give you a little bit more lift. You just wanna make sure you feel like you've got enough lift underneath your head so that your shoulders can be stacked and comfortable. You don't wanna have any tension through the neck and shoulders on this. We're gonna go and do all straight leg for this top leg. So lots of times we do lots of variations. This morning, we are gonna do all straight leg movement. All straight leg all the time, all the fun. Keep those ribs gently connected in the front. Keep a little lift from your waist away from the mat. Flex your foot or reach that leg out super long. You're gonna swing it forward on your inhale. Exhale, point the foot, pull the thigh back behind you a little bit. So you're gonna flex, kick forward, exhale, point, pull. So we're trying to get a nice easy swing forward and a really controlled pull back, right? It's the back of the thigh and the hip that are pulling that straight leg behind you. Inhale forward, exhale, point, pull. And keep the torso really stable so that there's no movement from your bum to your head, just movement through that top leg. Last two here. One more. You're gonna hold that leg back. We're gonna do little controlled circles with that top leg. We're circling that top leg, and notice that the circles make it much harder to keep your rib cage connected and keep the rest of your torso stable. Good, you guys. Reverse those circles. Breathe nice and steady. Keep that leg really long, straight. Good, last two, one. All right, pause here. You're gonna flex the foot again. Lift the leg up and down. So we're reaching through the heel, keeping the toes and the knee pointed forward. So the leg is staying nice and parallel. And notice that as you lift the leg up, it's a little harder to keep that waist lifted away from the floor. Right, so you don't want to lift that leg so high that your waist collapses. You want to keep the pelvis really stable. Good. One more. Okay, so from here, you're gonna let that leg rest for a second. All right, so we're gonna add a full body movement to this last one. Okay, so you're gonna go back to straightening out that top leg. We're gonna straighten out the top arm. You want the hand to stay just above shoulder height. And you want your foot to stay just above hip height during the entire exercise. You can point the foot or flex it, doesn't matter, whichever one you want to do that's comfortable. You're going to swing the leg forward, reach the arm back, and twist your body a little bit. So you're following the movement of your arm, and then you're going to switch. So you're going to let the torso rotate a little bit as it feels comfortable, reaching the hand and the foot away from each other in each direction. Trying to keep the torso long. You can point the foot or flex it. Whatever range of motion feels comfortable and doable through the arm and the leg. Inhale one direction, exhale the other. Going for three more. Really reach, reach, reach the hand and the foot away from each other in each direction. Good, one more time. And then relax that leg down. Nice work. Give your hip a little pound. Good job. All right, so when we're doing that one on the other side, you can always do that same exercise that we just did, make it a little smaller and keep your torso stable. So if for some reason the rotation of the torso didn't feel good on your back, you can stabilize your torso and just do the arm and leg next time on the other side. Always an option. All right, so push yourself up, bring your hip hop with you. And we do the whole fun exercise on the other side. So we're gonna start with those nice rotations first, okay? So you're gonna keep your head prop a little lower on this first set so that you can comfortably roll onto the back of the head as we get going through these rotations. So arms stay straight, take an inhale, a nice big book opener, up and over. Taking a big inhale into that stretch, and then exhaling to come back over. You just want your legs and your upper body to stay nice and heavy. Let everything just rest on your mat through that rotation. Inhaling to reach, exhaling to twist. Inhaling to hold that stretch, exhaling to pull it back over. One more time. Reach and twist. Inhale, hold, and exhale all the way back over. All right, so either using your hand or folding up your towel or pillow a little bit thicker. Get yourself a little bit more head support here. All right. So once you feel like you've got your shoulders and your neck and your head nice and supported, remember we're going to stack the hips. We're going to stretch the top leg out. You want to keep the little connection of the ribs in the front, little lift of the waist, keeping that foot just above your hip height. You're going to swing it forward and then point the foot and pull it back. So we're trying to keep that top leg really actively straight during all of these exercises, which gets increasingly more challenging as our hip starts getting tired. Inhaling to swing forward, exhaling to pull back. Really think about squeezing your glutes, pulling from the back of the thigh and the glutes as you pull that straight leg behind you. Go for two more. These look great, you guys. One more. You're gonna hold that leg back. So keep the leg super straight as you do little circles. So you're circling that thigh bone, breathing nice and steady, trying to keep the ribs connected, trying to keep the rest of the body relatively still here. Just much harder to do on these. And then reverse those circles. Again, breathing nice and steady, trying to keep the pelvis stable, trying to move just that leg. Last two. All right, keep that leg reaching out long. Flex the foot. Inhale to lift it up. Exhale to lower it down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And notice that if you keep your leg really parallel, pointing forward, you can't lift super high, right? If you're stabilizing your torso, keeping that waist lifted, keeping the tailbone tucked, it's hard to lift that leg too high. That's the point. Lots of good work. We got two more. You guys look great. Nice. Last one. All right, let leg rest for a second, okay? Let that hip have a little break. We're gonna do that last set that we were doing on the other side. Remember, you can add the torso rotation if it feels comfortable. If it doesn't feel comfortable on your back, just ditch the rotation and just stretch the arm and leg away from each other. So you're gonna stretch that top leg back out. You wanna keep the foot just above hip height. You're gonna reach the arm out long, keep the hand just above shoulder height. You're gonna swing the leg forward, reach the arm back, and then switch. So if it feels comfortable to rotate through the torso, go for it. Okay, coordinating the whole body moving, reaching the hand and foot away from each other in each direction. Inhaling one direction, exhaling the other. Remember, you can keep the foot flexed. You can point the foot, whichever one feels comfortable. Inhaling one direction, exhaling the other. So for two more. Last one. And then relax that leg down and give your hip a little pound. Nicely done. All right, from here, you're gonna push yourself up, come back to all fours, okay? We'll do just a little bit of spine and hip movement from there. Actually, I'm gonna stretch the feet a little bit too while we're here. So you can use your head prop underneath your knees for a little knee support or underneath your wrist for wrist support. You need either one of those. So you're gonna come back to your all fours position with your hands right underneath your shoulders. Reach one foot back, ball of the foot down, toes pointing forward, right? So we're trying to stretch through those toe joints. The leg is super straight. You're gonna rock back, reaching through your heel. That's gonna stretch your calf more. And then when you rock forward, that'll stretch your toes, the bottom of your foot tissue more. So you're rocking forward and back here. It's not a huge movement. You can tell from me, I've got a decent range of motion in all of those joints, but even still, it's not a very big movement, right? So we're really trying to isolate movement through the toes and movement through that ankle. Keeping that hip nice and open, leg nice and straight. Okay, nice. Bring that knee back in, reach the opposite foot out, ball of the foot down, toes pointing forward, rock back, reaching into the heel, stretching the calf, and forward, stretching the toes. And it's okay if it's hard for you to get your toes to stay down on the floor and bend, right, at the toe joints. That's challenging for a lot of us. So you're just working on getting as much movement as you possibly can comfortably through those toes and through your ankle. Let's go for 2 more. We're sneaking a little bit of weight bearing in wrists, right? Sneaking a little bit of plank work here as well. And then bring that back in. All right, shake out those wrists a little bit if you need to, and then make your way down onto your stomach. Okay, so we're gonna come onto the stomach to do a little bit more hip extension, a little bit more back extension work, okay? So just a reminder, and we've talked about this before, that if being on your stomach and doing work from your stomach is uncomfortable for your chest or uncomfortable for your low back, that's when you can use a really thin, kind of flat pillow or a rolled up towel underneath just your stomach. I'm gonna demonstrate. You want your chest to be just off, okay? Whatever your support is, you want your chest to be just off of it in order to give you some space for your chest if that's where you need the support. And you also want your pubic bone to be off of it, right? So that it's just underneath your belly. So you don't want something that's too big there. So you can do this whole series with a little bit of support underneath your stomach, okay? And actually my pillow is probably a little bigger than it needs to be for that. So a towel might be a better thing to put underneath you. All right, otherwise you're gonna come all the way down to your stomach. And let's give our hands, put our hands stacked and give our forehead a little bit of pillow with our hands. You're gonna rest your forehead down. And we're gonna do a little straight leg lift. You're gonna keep that right leg really straight as you lift it off the mat, and then lower it back down and exhale, straight lift of the left leg. So you're trying to keep those hips level. So you've got just as much weight on the right hip bone down on the mat as you have on the left hip bone down on the mat. Trying to limit rocking side to side, exhaling to lift the straight leg, inhaling to lower. And I've got my head lifted just to talk to you while we're doing this, but you want to try to keep your forehead down so that your neck is relaxed. Good, you guys. Go for 1 more time each side. 1 more time with the right leg lifting, and then left. And then you're gonna bend those knees, let your legs switch side to side. Good. All right, from here, stretch those legs out long again. If you're having any cramping in your toes, feel free to turn your legs out and your feet out a little bit, that might help. Bring your hands down into a little cactus or goalpost position. We're gonna get into some back extension. So you're gonna hover your nose right off the mat. On your inhale, you're gonna start to lift your head, collarbone and chest a little bit higher, but keep those elbows down for these first few. And then exhale to lower. So not a huge movement here, lifting the head, collarbone and chest, and then exhaling to lower back down with control. A little mini swan spine extension here. And then lower back down. 1 more time here. Inhale to lift, pubic bone stays heavy. Exhale to lower. Now you can keep these small like this, or on this next one, you're welcome to start lifting up higher. Lifting the elbows up, only coming up as high as it feels comfortable, and then lowering back down with control. Inhaling to lift up, open up the chest as you lift and push the floor away. Exhale to lower back down. So we're getting into a little bit more shoulder and arm work as you push away from the floor, lifting higher, particularly if those elbows are lifting up. You're gonna feel a little bit more shoulder and arm work there. Let's do 2 more. Exhale to lower. 1 more time, head lifts, then collarbone, chest, then you lift the belly, and then lower all the way back down. All right, keep your nose hovering right off the mat. Stretch your arms out, palms facing the floor. And you're gonna keep those arms reaching out super long. Lift the hands just gently off the floor. Okay, so you're hovering those hands off the floor. Keep your pubic bone pressing down, a little lift from your belly button. So you've got some support for your low back. And on your inhale, lift up into a little rocket position here, lifting your chest just a little bit higher, and then lower back down to your nose hover. Inhale to lift up, open up that chest, reach through your fingers. Exhale to lower back down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift the chest. Or reach those fingertips towards your feet. Exhale to lower, 2 more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Think about making that neck and that spine longer as you lift up. And then lower all the way down. You can either let your arms relax, let your cheek relax, and just hold and breathe in this position. Then bend your knees, sway the legs side to side. Or if it feels better, you can push yourself up and come into a child's pose and let your back round gently. Wherever it feels comfortable for you to rest, rest there and take 2 more slow, full breaths into your belly. Let the back expand. Good, you guys. All right. Slowly make your way up off of your stomach or out of your child's pose. Okay, let your blood flow recirculate. Okay, and then you're gonna come have a seat on your pillow or your towel folded up. Just give your hips a little lift, a little perch. Okay, so from here, you can keep your knees bent and keep your feet out in front of you as much as you need to for comfort. Try to sit super tall. So kind of sitting right on the edge, your sit bones right on the edge of your pillow sometimes will help you feel a little bit more lift, okay? So you're gonna take your hands out to the side. And we're gonna take a little seated twist here. So you're gonna try to stay really long and tall. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, you're gonna rotate to the right and see if you can take your hand to your shin or to your knee and the opposite hand to the floor and let your hands gently help you twist. Only as far as it feels comfortable. You're gonna hold here for another full breath, trying to make your spine longer, longer, longer. And then gently unwind through the center. Pause, take an inhale, feel your body as long as possible. And then exhale, twist to the left. Again, see if you can take a hand to the leg and then a hand to the floor behind you. And let your hands gently support you, rotating to the left as you lengthen that spine. Take one more big full breath here. And then gently unwind. Good. Okay, let's see if we can stretch into those hips just a little bit. So you're gonna come into a crisscross, but don't tuck those feet in too tight. You're gonna keep them kind of open out away from each other. Okay, one leg in front. And then you're just gonna reach forward for the floor in front of you. Or you can reach to your legs and gently pull yourself forward. Whatever feels comfortable here. Try to let your legs relax. Sometimes this feels like a great stretch, kind of like your figure 4 stretch on your back. Sometimes this feels like hip tension. So if it doesn't feel great, this probably just isn't a great stretch for your hips this morning, and you might want to go back onto your back and do your figure 4. Okay, so let's switch sides. Just good to know all the different ways you can stretch those hips out. They all feel a little bit different. I'll offer something a little different for your hips. So take a couple breaths here. See if you can feel a stretch through those hips, particularly on the outsides. Okay, so if that one wasn't your favorite, remember you can always go to that figure 4 and lay down on your back and get that same stretch. If that one feels better for you this morning, then you know you can always go to that. You're gonna get rid of your little pillow underneath you. We're gonna end with just a kneeling side bend. Okay, so coming up to your knees. And you can put your pillow underneath your knees if you want a little support for that. So take your knees out a little bit wider than your hips. Okay, so keeping your knees out a little bit wider than your hips. Now take a big inhale as you side bend up and over, reaching one hand down toward the floor and the other hand up and away. And then exhale to stack it back up. Inhale to reach the opposite direction, trying to keep the hips and the shoulders squared forward. Exhale it back up. Good, inhale to reach. Exhale to stack the spine up. And inhale to reach. Good, you guys, exhale it back up. Make sure your head is reaching over with you, right? Yeah, good. One more time. Big inhale and exhale. And then take your hands either just behind you on your thighs, or you can clasp your hands behind you, whichever one feels comfortable. And then just open up that chest, take a big inhale as you look up a little bit, lifting the chest a little bit. And then exhale, relax. One more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, relax. Let go of those fingers, shake out those arms. And you guys are all set. Good work today.